Chapter 9. Sweet Sorrow. "Tut, tut! You're a sorry sight, man," Will said to the bear's owner, "trying to sell an old tame bear to the fights. Well, I've been planning to write a play with a part for a bear, so take this money for him and be gone." Will handed some gold coins to the bear's owner. The man's eyes grew wide. He laughed. "You can have him," the man said, and he took off. "Thank you, and good riddance," called Will. Then he turned to Puck. "Take our new player to the stables. Tell the actors they needn't be afraid of him. He's tamer than most of them." "Come this way," Puck said. He put his arm around the bear and gently led him out of the trees. "You'll love the stage, old man." "Bye, Puck. Bye, Dan," said Danny. Puck smiled and waved. The bear stared for a moment at Jack and Annie. He had a grateful look in his eyes. Then he lumbered off with Puck. "Thanks," Will said. "Thanks, Will, for helping Dan," said Annie, "and for helping us." "Thank you both for helping me," said Will. "You saved the day." "The night, you mean," said Jack. "Indeed, the night," said Will. "Oh, here is your bag. You forgot it." He gave Jack his leather bag. Then he held up their 2 scrolls with their lines on them. "You can take these," said Will. He handed them to Jack and put them in his bag. "Where are you off to now?" said Will. "The other side of the London Bridge," said Annie. "Ah, I can take you there in my boat," said Will. "Follow me." Will led them along the dusty path towards the river. The last ray of the sun slanted through the trees. Soon they came to a small rowboat docked on the Thames. "Climb in," said Will. Jack and Annie and Will climbed in. Will noticed the boat, untied the boat from the dock. Then he began rowing across the river. The water reflected the purple and pink in the sky. Only a few white swans now glided over the shimmering ripples. The river smelled as bad as before, but Jack didn't mind it now. He'd grown used to it. Jack pulled out his notebook and pencil. "What are you doing?" Will asked. "I wanted to write down some of my memories in my notebook," said Jack. "Ah, all right. I'll note you both in my book of memory," said Will. Jack smiled. "I have a question, Will," said Annie. "Why does Queen Elizabeth have black teeth?" "Too much sugar," said Will. "I hope it doesn't make her feel bad, looking that way, I mean," said Annie. "Oh, no, she's not at least hurt," said Will. "The Queen has no idea how she looks. She hasn't peeked in a good mirror for 20 years. "Is that true?" said Annie. "'Tis," said Will. "The Queen pretends to be young and beautiful, just as you pretend to be a boy, and the bear pretended to be an actor. You see, all the world's a stage." Jack liked that idea. He wrote it in his notebook. All the world's a stage. Jack looked up at the London Bridge as they passed by. The shops of the bridge were closed now. The theater, crowded, was thinning out. The scary black birds were no longer on the rooftops. They had swooped down and were picking at the garbage left on the cobblestones. The show was over. By the time they came to the riverbank. Night was falling. It was much cooler. Will tied up his rowboat, and climbed ashore with Jack and Annie. "Thanks a lot," Jack said to Will. "We can go the rest of the way by ourselves." "Where do you live?" said Will. "In Frog Creek," said Annie. "What path do you take?" said Will. "You'd never believe us," said Annie. We climb up a rope ladder to a tree house, and we climb up the rope ladder to a tree house. In that tree over there, we open a book. Then we make a wish," said Jack, "and we go to the place in the book." Will smiled. "Thy life's a miracle, isn't it?" he said. "Yes," said Annie. Jack nodded. He liked the way Will looked at things. "I have an idea," said Will. "Why don't you both stay here instead? You can live and act at the Globe Theater. I'll ask the Queen to exclude you from the law about girls on stage, Annie, because of your great talent, and I'll teach you both to write plays." "Really?" said Jack and Annie together. Jack couldn't imagine anything more fun. Then he thought about his parents back in Frog Creek. "But our mom and dad," he said. "We would really miss them," said Annie. Will smiled. "I understand," he said, "and I would miss you if I were them." He put his hand over his heart. "So good night, good night. Parting is such sweet sorrow." "Yes, 'tis," said Annie, nodding. "Farewell," said Will. He waved. Jack and Annie waved back. Then Will turned on his heels and headed back to the rowboat. Jack and Annie walked to the rope ladder and climbed up into the treehouse. When they got inside, they looked out the window. Will was rowing back across the Thames. A single white swan glided across the ripples beside his boat. A silver moon was rising in the sky. At that moment, Jack did feel sweet sorrow. He wanted to stay in merry old England just a little bit longer. "Wait, Will," he shouted. But Annie picked up the Pennsylvania book. "I wish we could go home," she said. The wind started to blow. The treehouse started to spin. It spun faster and faster. And then everything was still. Absolutely still. Chapter 10. Our Will. Jack opened his eyes. They were wearing their own clothes again. A lightning bug blinked inside the growing darkness of the treehouse. Annie picked up Morgan's note. She read, repeated the rhyme. To find a special magic, you must step into the light, and without a wand, spell, or charm, turn daytime into night. "We found the special magic," said Annie. "Theater magic." "Yep," said Jack. He opened his backpack. He and Annie took out the 2 scrolls Will had given them. When they unrolled them, Jack saw that Will had written something. He read aloud, "Thank you for helping me, your friend, William Shakespeare." "William Shakespeare?" said Annie. "I've heard that name before." "Me too," said Jack. He took out his research book. He looked up Shakespeare in the index. He turned to the page and read aloud. William Shakespeare lived from 1564 to 1616. He wrote 37 plays and many sonnets and other poems. Many people think he was the greatest writer who ever lived. "The greatest?" said Annie. Our Will?" "Oh, man," whispered Jack. He stared in amazement at William Shakespeare's autograph. "Hey, we can leave our scrolls with Morgan's note," said Annie. "It'll prove to her that we found our special magic." They put their scrolls next to the note on the floor. Then they climbed down the rope ladder. When they started walking through the woods, a breeze blew, shaking the tree leaves. Shadows shifted, birds called from hidden places. "Remember the enchanted woods?" Annie said in a hushed voice. "The fairy queen and the fairy king?" Jack smiled and nodded. "And Puck, the merry wanderer of the night?" said Annie. "And Will, our Will?" Jack nodded again. "I had a great time," said Annie. "Didn't you?" Jack sighed. "Yes," he said. Then he took a deep breath and spoke very clearly with feeling. "I've had a most rare vision. I have had a dream." The end. I really liked that one. That was good. I wasn't expecting it. I thought it might be strange, but I really liked it. I had a good hint when it was called Stage Fright on a Summer Night, because Midsummer Night's Dream is the name of the play that they were performing. And I actually was in that play in high school. So I really liked this story because it reminded me of such good memories. And that's one of the wonderful things books can do, is they remind you of such wonderful memories and things that you kind of forget in our daily lives, but then they bring them out in books. And that just, it's a warm and fuzzy feeling. Let's see if I can stretch. I got it. Here is our next book. And I only disrupted Barrett a little. Mwah. It is Good Morning Gorillas. Gentle giants or gentle monsters. Oh, sorry. That's not what it says. Gentle giants or giant monsters. That's the question Jack and Annie have about gorillas when the magic treehouse sweeps them to the mountains of Africa. There, they meet a group of amazing and sometimes frightening mountain gorillas. Annie knows how to play with the creatures right away, but Jack is left out. Will the gorillas be able to teach him some special magic? You'll go ape over Magic Treehouse Good Morning Gorillas. Number 26 that we will read tomorrow. Have a wonderful day, and I will see you tomorrow. Bye-bye.